Yeah, what's the verdict, man? So long, all praise to the Most High. I'm gonna try to keep it nice and short as much as possible. Um, when I think about this situation with Dolph on some real shit, it reminds me with the information that young Dolph artist just put out there about him allegedly about to go 50-50 with Empire. You gotta understand, this remind me of 50 Cent situation. When 50 Cent was in the beginning of his career, when he was getting under people's skin, especially when he dropped Hot to Rob, he threw out mad artist names, boom, 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 dissing them in a playful way, in an entertainment way, on an independent scale, in a way, because he wasn't known um, through mixtape circuit at the time. A lot of some artists took offense of it so bad that they blackballed him just off from using one line or whatever the case may be. They felt it disrespectful. They said Big Pun is about to put the strap to Wu Kid. Like it was getting physical. Jay-Z dissed him. I'm about $1. What the hell is 50 Cent? And 50 Cent found his target. Can you understand? It was top 5 artists in New York that was the go-to guy when it came to platinum records. Jay-Z, Nas, DMX, Ja Rule, and who should I say the last person? I could dare near say Fat Joe. Those the 5. Should I say Fat Joe? I could say Fat Joe. He ran his own record company, Terror Squad. 5 people that was running the streets of NYC for on the music scene. Jay Z was too much for 50, so that would have 50 probably would never had a career if Jay Z would have stayed on. If him and Jay Z would have kept going back bar for bar. But I give it to 50. He came at him and he came at him again. Let him know like I'm coming for that rat crown. F what you talking about. F what you want. But it would have been a sticky situation if 50 would have came at him off the rip because Jay Z was well loved by the hip hop community during that time. And people already was, dick riding off the one line that Jay Z dropped. So imagine Jay Z was just dropping a whole bunch of bars on 50. Especially around that time, Jay Z was on his on his shit, dissing whoever, especially from Queens. He had Mob D and Nas, 2 top dogs of Queens at that time. Boom. Nas. Well, Nas from Queens and Nas and 50 had a relationship. You know what I mean? And plus, you didn't want to get Ether, bro. You know what I mean? Around that time, Nas dropped Ether in around 2000s. You know what I mean? Early 2000s. So didn't want those type of issues. So he linked up with him. Um, DMX. DMX was there was another one that you didn't want to. You were better off collaborating with him than going against him. That's why you end up on the DMX Grand Champ um, album. You know, shots go off. You know what I mean? So I think that's the song. One of those things. But shot down. Get you shot down. But Fat Joe. Well, Fat Joe wasn't really too much known for beef around that time, early 2000s. He had behind the scene beef with individuals, but he ain't had no mainstream beef where everybody was like commercialized beef with anybody besides towards in the middle of mid 2000s, 50 Cent. Boom. Now, Ja Rule, he was more as an easy target, even though he was from Queens. Southside and Hollis hoods naturally don't get along. For one, Southside is look at more grimy than Hollis, so they looked at the Hollis boys like they was like peppy boys. I don't know how it is today, but during that time they didn't really look at Hollis as a threat. You get me? So at the end of the day, it was what it was. But 50 found his target. I'm coming at him. I want top 5. Who I got knocked out. He came at Ja Rule. That eventually got 50 Cent shot, stab, jump, a whole bunch of street elements on his eyes. But then 50 is also from that street element, so he understood it very well. That he had to move a certain way. So in his own words, he hired a bunch of young, hungry guys that he had no connection with the old school guys. That everybody was all the older people around 50 age and up was old, scared of. They were scared of Preem Team. The Preem Team was the motherfucking niggas. Just how it went. And they just got rid of E Money Bags, allegedly. You know what I mean? So allegedly they just got rid of E Money Bags, and after they done already attempted on 50. So now he's like, I gotta approach the situation totally different. So 50 removed himself and went to PA to the Poconos and worked on his craft while he was in the Poconos. He dropped Guess Who's Back. Boom. But meanwhile, in NYC, you heard the stories, they was blackballing 50. 50 went to Bad Boys to work a deal out with Puffy. Puffy said no. Puffy tried to use the disclaimer that, pardon me, Puffy tried to claim that 50 came in there, with straps, which they did. I heard stories about, 50 staying strapped down and all that. But, come on, Puffy. We know the real reason why you ain't signed. You didn't want nothing to do with 50. Preem Team. He didn't want those problems. Especially with Preem Team and the Black Hand, R.I.P. Chaz. They linked together and started collaborating on street shit. Their team. And then they decided to blackball 50 since 50, to their eyes, and their eyes at that time, hard-headed and arrogant. So they're like, man, this guy, he don't want to listen. We gonna step on him. So they like, anybody that get caught working with him, they gonna get at him. So stay away from him. Unfortunately, Jam Master Jay ended up paying that price. They try to say it had nothing to do with that 50 Cent and Rich Next situation, but come on now. Too soon. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot going on behind the scenes that nobody know about the whole G Unit and Murder Inc. battle. It wasn't just on that shit ain't stay on wax. We had the soldiers that was running around in Queens going at each other. Then you gotta look at Murder Inc. started collaborating with mad other industry rappers like Benzino, who actually was a major club player behind the scenes as well. Then he linked with who? Suge Knight. At this time, 50's linked with who? Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and them. So people's already building alliance and linking up with who they linking up with. But if 50 didn't make that move with Aftermath, we probably won't have the 50 Cent we have today. That's why he thank God for guys like Eminem every day. He probably wouldn't have half the success that he have right now if they never gave him a chance, an opportunity to perform at his greatest potential. But don't think that it was over, because after the Murder Inc. and 50 Cent beef, it moved on to who? The Game and Jimmy Henchman beef. That got physical. And 50 had to attack that different. And the backwards, just a little bit briefly, don't forget about the beef he had with World and them from Brooklyn. So 50 had a lot of run-ins streetwise on numerous occasions, especially when they came to NY. He was not well liked. Nobody they liked his music, but as a person, they didn't like him. You know what I mean? He spoke his mind too much. He didn't give a shit. He didn't collaborate with nobody if he was in G Unit. If you ever notice, he don't do too many collaborations. He started like collaborating more. Probably towards 2007, 2008 and up. But around those times, 2004, 2005, 2006, he kept a lot of his music G Unit. And even he started building up his own Super G Unit clique. He started building up his alliance with MOP, Mobb Deep, Mace. Spider Low. Of course, he had Young Buck with him. So these guys building a team. Now, why I compare that with Young Dolph? Because Young Dolph kind of had the same scenario. Him being blackballed from the industry. You gotta understand the industry is a real small world. It's not as big as everybody think it is. You get me? It's a small world. The industry is a small world. You're gonna run into each other. Ain't no way around it. If you don't run into each other, your associates gonna run into each other. Everybody know about the document beef between him and unfortunately CMG. Dolph decided to not collaborate with a lot of artists that's from Memphis. He'd rather sign a lot of guys that he grew up with or grew up around. He ended up aligning himself with guys like Big Moochie, of course his cousin Key Glock. He started putting a lot of his artists on, especially young artists, putting them in position to make their music. But they still was blackballed from the industry. A lot of people act like they was rocking with them, but a lot of people wasn't rocking with them. He's been attempted. People already know about the attempted murders on his life. Him being shot, his car's been shut up. Who that sound like? 50 been shot, and 50 had bulletproof vehicles. He didn't move nowhere without security, without people holding him down at all. Now, what's the difference between 50 and Dolph? The difference was this. Unfortunately, Dolph bodyguard or security reacted too late. He ain't catch the lineup. He ain't catch the play. He ain't catch the back door. He ain't catch the snake. By the time he reacted, it was too late. They already had got the young Dolph. But if this true, if this information is true about Dolph going 50-50, allegedly negotiating to go 50-50 with Empire, I mean, just the same way y'all know the streets talk. See, there be no white flag and no peace talk. Who said that? 50. See, the loser end up in shackles, end up in handcuffs and shackled, or they gonna be laid out, leaking out their brain, man. This the art of war game, bro. The art of war game. You gotta play this shit to the very end. You gotta play this shit tightly, and that's what 50 did. 50 do that to this day. You see what the last person that approached 50, what he do? He threw furniture at that nigga, cheers, bottles, whatever he had. Get away from me. Don't run up on me. I don't know you, nigga. That's real shit, man. Dolph made himself too accessible. You cannot be accessible to me. Much love you show, cannot be accessible to people when you in higher authority. That's what Dolph felt at, you know. But Dolph won. His artist said he was up multi M's, playing with millions upon millions. He had enough money to go half with Empire to invest into Empire. Why his security reacted slow or didn't really press the issue, I don't know. I don't know why. But I thank God they escorted him out of that situation because those people probably would have ended up trying to kill the security guard once they figured out like Drew were the cause of this man's death. At least Dolph tried to bust back. The same shit happened to who? 50. You can squeeze your little handgun till it runs out. You're trying to pull your handgun out, trying to handle your business. But them bullets hit you, it's over. They start spinning you. Look, man. People gotta accept the fact that rap and hip hop is two different elements. Rap is a part of hip hop that make up the hip hop body, the body of hip hop. Rap is the voice of hip hop. That's it. and unfortunately, rap haven't been righteous in years. Why? And then people are making righteous music. We got conscious rappers. We got rappers that's out here rapping positivity. Y'all not listening to them. Y'all not giving them a chance. The industry is not pushing them. You know who they pushing? All the ignorant shit. All the gang shit. All the motherfucking suicidal music that make you want to kill and blow your fucking brains out music. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it at times my damn self because of my environment. And I'm speaking on my environment, but sometimes I get too vivid with my music. Sometimes I get too vivid. I ain't gonna lie. I'm working on that, my damn self. Like even with Dolph music, like I wish Dolph would have talked more about his real estate, his business moves, more like how this Hustle was pushing that. He was pushing that wealth more. I wish Dolph was pushing that wealth more, pushing wealth more in his music instead of adapting, pushing street. He needs to be pushing corporate music. Cause your growth, you're no longer part of that situation no more. Now you're a businessman. You are in a business mind frame. And unfortunately, man, this shit end his life. I said I wasn't gonna make this video long, and I ended up making this video long anyway. But what I'm saying is this, man. Rap have really went down the shit, man. This the most I ever seen rappers get killed in this era. And be honest, it's not the industry fault. The industry doing what the industry do. The industry is the entertainment business. They get paid to entertain. They get paid to perform. We gotta take accountability, bro. We out here wiping each other out for a green piece of paper that get created by trees. The playing field is so fair when you're in the industry. There's no need for you to be stepping on each other's shoes and still having that stinking way of thinking. Like you in the streets, like you gotta cut though. You don't gotta cut though nobody when you get into some bread. Cause I don't know the full story about Dolph. Like I don't want to put that on CMG until the more information comes out. But like I said, you know the streets talk, man. And we don't know if it's true or not, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen, man. And I just pray to God that they have nothing to do with the death of Dolph, because I rock with both of them. I don't pick or choose sides, man. I rock with both of them. We make good music. It sound believable to me. I'm bopping to it. Man, bless up, man.